The Rock Metal Podcast, episode 85 with Violent Divine. Rock Metal Nation, what is up? This is John from the Rock Metal Podcast. That sample you just heard was Unbeliever by Violent Divine, who I've got on the show with me right now. They're a metal band from Sweden, and we're going to be listening to that song as well as one other while finding out more information about the band. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I am so happy that you're happy to be here, sir.
That's great. We're both happy.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be too happy while listening to metal. That's how I feel anyway.
That's correct.
Let's go and listen back to that track, Unbeliever.
I have no memories of the day I died. Just like passing time, what have I done? I've seen better days, as I recall. Somewhere along the way, something got lost between me, myself, and I inside the void. Will you die for me? Will you bleed for me? Will you kneel before me? Will you live for me? Will you trust in me? Are you just like me, the unbeliever? Inside the mystery, I find a key, and all the answers will be revealed. A tiny glimpse of better days. That's how we'll finally escape this hell between me, myself, and I am locked inside. Will you die for me? Will you bleed for me? Will you kneel before me? Will you live for me? Will you trust in me? Are you just like me, the unbeliever? I dig a deeper grave. I find a deeper pain. Am I heaven sent or just an accident? Will you die for me? Will you bleed for me? Will you kneel before me? Will you live for me? Will you trust in me? Are you just like me, unbeliever? Will you die for me, unbeliever? Will you bleed for me, unbeliever? Will you live for me, unbeliever? Are you just like me?
All right, coming back, what was the story or inspiration behind Unbeliever?
Well, I think SJ, the guitarist, came up with the initial riff of the song. Violent Divine has always been about, the 80s kind of metal riff, arena and stadium songs like, Motley Crue and Rat and all these kind of bands. And you combine it with a catchy chorus or something like that. I wrote the lyrics, and I was watching some shows, TV shows like Bachelor or Paradise Hotel or whatever. I can't remember. It was an accident, really. And I figured, all these people, do they really believe in something like an ideology, or do they have a religion, or what exactly do they live for? What do they die for? That's kind of fascinating for me, because it seems like they're just out there grabbing the 5 minutes of shame, and really, of course, you're not seeing these people in their sort of natural habitat, because what you really want to know, if they're trying to find love, you want to see how will this work out in your daily grind. You're picking up kids from school, you're going back and forth to your job, you're trying to get along with your wife's parents during Christmas. I mean, these kind of real things. Will their love endure the pressure? But still, what do they believe in?
Yeah.
But it ended up like a love song. Do you believe in me? Do you believe in us? Do you believe in love? Will you die for me? Will you live for me?
Okay, now I have Cher stuck in my head.
What?
Now I have Cher stuck in my head. Do you believe in love by Cher? You know? No.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, because she was the first one to introduce us to the autotune plugin.
She was
cranked up to the max.
Yeah, she was. I actually recently watched a Side Tangent, Rock Metal Nation Side Tangent. I recently saw a documentary where people were like, did she know that they were going to put that plugin on? Come on, it's Cher. I'm pretty sure she knew that they were going to do it. But that was the cool thing about her, was she wasn't like, hey, look, check it out, autotune. She was just like, I'm going to kick this out into the world. See what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely.
That was interesting, because now all of us are using the autotune plugin, whether we need it or not. And well, if you listen to any top 40 radio station, they all have autotune. And what you really want to know is, if I go and see a live concert with any of these bands or artists, God forbid, will they be able to sing this stuff live? But of course, they have autotune live as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's become such a part of the industry. So many singers who don't even need auto-tune, speaking of top 40, such as Rihanna, who's an incredible singer, or even on Celine Dion's last album, there was a lot of auto-tune, and it's become kind of like the airbrushing that's done for magazine covers. The girl's already like 20 pounds underweight. She doesn't need to be airbrushed, but they're going to airbrush her anyway.
Yeah.
Like Rihanna can freaking sing.
Yeah, but we, as a music consumer, you get used to the kind of, the sound of everything being in perfect pitch. And, well, I mean, it doesn't matter really if you can sing, but somewhere along the way, you lose the feeling, the sort of bluesy feeling of, a really good singer. If you listen to an old rock album by Journey or what have you, it's not perfect. You have these small glitches, but it adds to the feeling, and it sort of connects with you in a way that I think modern music, especially top 40 music, it's very hard to connect with these super auto-tuned singers.
Yeah.
Now, I use auto-tune as well, so.
Well, sir, now you mentioned people going after their 5 minutes of shame. What kind of belief system do these guys have? I'm curious, how did the name of the track Unbeliever come to be?
Well, we live in the most what's the name of it? Atheistic countries in the world. In Sweden, you're not supposed to have a belief system like you believe in Christianity or what have you, because you're supposed to be rational and make rational decisions about this and that, life in general. But still, on a global scale, people are, extremely religious. But in Sweden, we're not supposed to be. But that's bullshit, of course, because I mean, the Swedish Christian Church has millions of members, so I mean, we're just as religious as anybody else, but you're not really supposed to be, because you have to be rational about things.
Of course.
But I think to some extent you need a belief system. You need to believe in something that's a concept that is higher than yourself and the situation that you live in. It could be a religion, or you can have an ideology. So you have to have something in your life to get on. Yeah. That's my belief.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, you mentioned that SJ came up with the riff for this track, and then obviously we combine it with, like a catchy chorus, and we're thinking about kind of like arena rock from the 80s a bit. Was this unique to the writing process, or was there anything unique when it came to writing Unbeliever?
It's like we write most of our tracks, because you basically start off with a huge riff, and you just add the details. That's how we usually do it. So it's we've been repeating this recipe for like 12 years now, and with a bit of endurance, eventually we'll have a world hit.
There you go. Rock Metal Nation, if you dug the track Unbeliever, if you go to today's show notes, it's going to be www.therockmetalpodcast.ca. You can go and see a music video for Unbeliever, which is an totally awesome freaking music video. So that brings me to the next logical question, which is, tell me the story behind the music video. How did you guys take the song and then turn that into the visual that we now have?
Well, it's simply a performance video, and that's what we've been doing from the start. We've discussed like a million times if we're gonna do, a concept video with like a script and actors and stuff like that. But well, it's it's a fascinating idea, but none of us are like script writers, or we don't have a decent idea. So a performance video, that's more or less what we can achieve, really. And we have this guy Jonas that's done most of our videos, and he's like a documentary film person. He's been to like Himalaya and done documentaries. He's done stuff in like the ocean, doing underwater photographies and stuff like that. So that's what he do. He's making videos for us to get something else to do, just to relax. And we find a stage, and we have a lot of coffee, and he tells us what to do. Really, that's it. So,
all right. See, this is what
it's just plain and simple.
Yeah, let's go to listen to the next track, I Believe.
Kiss me like I'm dead.
All right, cut back from I Believe. Very cool track. I definitely like the backbeat in that one. Kind of like a four on the floor backbeat in a way. I also see we went from being an unbeliever to an I Believe.
Yeah, and that was sort of that was sort of an accident because well, we're also, you know, the band's name is Violent Divine, which is a play with words. Is the divine violent or is it good? But I usually play around a lot with these concepts. I believe, well, it's really the notion of love beyond death, and it's not an unusual concept because most ghost stories or horror movies that you see have this idea of feelings and emotions, sort of gets you back into the world of the living in some ways. So, well, so do I believe in eternal, immortal love? Yeah, I guess that's my belief system in some ways.
And so basically that's the story or the inspiration behind I Believe is coming to terms with the idea that love can bring you back into this mortal world.
Well, not in physical shape, obviously, but well, I mean, for instance, if I die and my wife would like remarry or something, I would definitely come back to haunt her. I promise. So.
All right.
I don't know.
Like the movie Spawn. I think it was no Spawn. I think it was. Yeah, I Died for You.
Yeah.
Iced Earth did the soundtrack. I Died for You.
Yeah, imagine the guilt in that. I died for you, and now you're remarrying some other creep here.
Exactly.
I mean, what the...
Exactly.
I'm not having that.
No. Never. So pop up the bagels whenever they put down the toaster.
Yeah.
So they never ever get their bagels toasted.
No.
It's fantastic.
Not ever.
Not ever. Not once.
Spill their coffee.
Yeah.
I will spill their coffee and what have you. So.
Yeah. I always play with the dog whenever he's around so that he gets jealous. Why doesn't the dog ever want to play with me? What exciting news do you guys have coming up for Rock Metal Nation to pay attention to?
Well, I don't know really. We have a release party coming up on the 10th of November. We'll be doing a couple of shows in the nearby area. We'll have an online release party where you can stream the album for 24 hours, which is basically like 48 hours because the world is round, they tell me at least. Some people think it's flat, but well, I read this article about, the South Pole is being a hoax. It's really a huge wall of ice, and therefore you're not allowed to visit if you want to visit the South Pole.
It's being held up by elephants. Everybody knows that. It's a flat world being held up by elephants. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, that's the truth. So we're really going to take it from there because it all depends on the reception of the new album, and we'll just see what will come out of it. And so far, I know the promotion work is moving on, and we're still waiting to get some reactions from the music biz and, well, rock fans in general. So far, it's we haven't heard really a lot of things, but what we have heard is, hey, this is a great album, so hopefully that will continue, and one thing will lead to the other, and well, hopefully we'll go on tour, because that's the main, focus, being in a rock band. You want to get out there and, get on stage and grab a beer and meet, rock fans and just hang out. That's the main part of being in a rock band, because you can't be into the studio all the time. That's boring.
All right, so Rock Metal Nation, we have a release party on the 10th of November. So today is going to be the 8th of November. So therefore, on Friday, there's going to be a release party. And there's going to be shows in the nearby area. So if you are in Sweden and you're obviously in an area near, Violent Divine, then go ahead and check out the release party and the shows nearby. And there's also going to be an online release party, which brings me to my next logical question for you, and that is, how can Rock Metal Nation find out more about you, about this online release party? Is there a website that they should go to?
Yeah, we're kind of old school, so we have one of these websites. It's ViolentDivine.se, like in Sweden. But we're also on Facebook.com/ViolentDivine, and that's where the release party, the online release party, will be, with the 24-hour listening party. And hopefully we will also have some time to, log into Facebook and cheers and all that. So, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to it. So, Rock Metal Nation, if you dug everything that you've heard today, go ahead and go to ViolentDivine.se, or if you're on Facebook, you can go to Facebook.com/ViolentDivine, and on the 10th of November, there's going to be a online release party, which is going to be absolutely fantastic to check out the album there. So, Mike, unless there's anything else you wanted to throw out there, I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come on to the Rock Metal Podcast and share your creativity with Rock Metal Nation.
All right. Thank you, John, for having us.
All right, Rock Metal Nation. Hopefully you just found your new favorite band in Violent Divine. Big thanks again to them for coming on and sharing their music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to get all the information on the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation.